In these tough economic times, people and businesses are struggling to make ends meet, and some even have to file for bankruptcy. Now, one problem is some people don't seem to know when to file, and that can hurt them in the long run. In this week's It's the Law, attorney Jay Davis sheds some light on the issue and will answer your legal questions. Hey, Jay, how are you doing today?
Hey, Andrew, doing well.
Good. Thank you so much for being here. Now, this is a problem a lot of people face. When do you say when? When you're facing, financial difficulties, when do you know that you need to file for bankruptcy?
Well, you need to start planning a little bit early. A lot of people wait till the last minute. They take things out of a 401k, borrow from relatives. Once you kind of see the writing on the wall before you do those other things, you probably need to do a bankruptcy consultation and try to figure out if that's going to be what you need.
Now, theoretically, someone who may be struggling with their mortgage payment, when is the time that people need to just look at it and say they need to just accept that they need to file for bankruptcy?
Well, mortgage payments now are creating a lot of problems. There's a lot of government programs trying to get people to refinance, but then the companies are telling you to be 3 months behind in order to be eligible for those programs. And that people sometimes do that, and then they're still ineligible, so they come to us about it in foreclosure because they've missed 3 payments, and then they spent that money. They didn't set that money aside.
Now, for small businesses, a lot of people around the area, they own small businesses. For those types of groups, when do they know that they need to file for bankruptcy?
Well, if a business is owned by an individual, if it's one individual and it's so small that he or she owns it all, then they need to look at a personal bankruptcy first. A business bankruptcy is very expensive, and a lot of times for small businesses isn't the right choice. The individual who owns them needs to begin that process. But if it's a business that is large enough to protect their assets, then you'd go into a rather expensive bankruptcy but preserve a large business if you've got a medium-sized business.
Okay, interesting. Now, I do want to get to one of our viewer questions here. It's one from Shatoria. She writes, "My baby's father asked for a copy of my son's Social Security card. I gave it to him and wrote copy on it. I think he may try and claim my son on his taxes, but the thing is he hasn't taken care of him. So if he does try and claim him, should I sue or could I sue?" Basically is her question. Does she have a case if the father
It's possible
does try
she has a case to sue. Now, a copy on a birth certificate or a Social Security card or anything like that isn't going to do much. A father has the right to the Social Security number of a child. If he's claiming the child and he's not eligible, then she has 2 choices: to correct both of their filings so that he has to pay back the money that he may have gotten, or she can sue him for what she would have gotten or for what he got. And of course, whichever one is the most would be what I would recommend to go for if she wanted to go that route.
Now, you said he needs to be deemed eligible. What is it that makes
Normally,
a person
to be
eligible?
eligible, either it's done by contract in a child custody arrangement, whether it's a divorce or otherwise, or it's somebody who's taking care of the child more than 50% of the child's needs per that year, and that would make them eligible.
All right, Attorney Jay Davis, thank you so much for being here. We
Thanks,
appreciate it. And if you'd like to get your legal questions answered, you can send us an email to itsthelaw@41nbc.com.